Cadets for Christ Headquarters.
Hey Cadets, this is Pastor Dave, and this is Cadets for Christ Headquarters. We got a lot of cool things in store for you today, and so let's jump right into it. Here's your Cadet commanders.
Logan Liuzzo, aka Lilo Gang, 3rd grade Army Captain.
Today, I'm gonna be like a little kitty cat. I'm cute until the claws come out.
Zach Maynard, aka Z-Bones, 4th grade Navy Captain.
I'm gonna be like the Cookie Monster off Sesame Street and eat up my competition like they're cookies.
Nom 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 nom.
Ryan Barrett, aka RB, 5th grade Air Force Captain.
Today, my strategy is gonna be like this hat, Nike, just do it.
Jordan Liuzzo, aka Mr. Potato Head, 6th grade Marine Captain.
In this challenge, I just don't want to come in 4th.
Cadets for Christ Game Field.
All right, we're back in the game field. We got the Air Force, we got the Army, Marines, and Navy. It's gonna be a challenge today. It's a little warm, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. We got great weather. Guys, are you ready to do this?
Yes, we're ready.
It's the big ball challenge. The goal is to simply get that ball across your line. We have 4 different lines representing the 4 different teams. It's worth 500 points. We're gonna do the best out of 5. The one with the most points, 5 times. You guys ready to do it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Air Force, take your spot there. Army over here, Marines over there, Navy here, ball in the middle. Are you guys ready? Everybody ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go! This ball ain't gonna make it through this challenge. First one, get it over the line. What? What? Whose line is this? Is this Air Force? Oh! Whose line is that? Marines. Marines. That's round 1. Let's give the guys a second to get a breath.
It hit my cone.
Quick, boys.
That's even worse than the first one.
These guys are feeling it. 3. Air Force. That's what you call endurance. Marines got the strength, Air Force got the endurance. They were already got their breath, they were prepped, they were ready to go. Grab the ball before we even got to go any further than across the line. These guys barely made it across the line and Air Force took it. Here we go. 3. 3. 2. 1. Go. Oh, there it went your way. That's round 3. Air Force has 2. Let's find out who brings it home for the next round, round 4. I kind of feel guilty, you know, because Air Force, the ball went in the air, kind of drifted their way. We can't make that mistake again. You guys ready? Wins that round. We got Air Force. You're still doing it. You can win this, Air Force. Guys, catch a breath. Let's finish this competition. 3, 2, 1. What? Get over! No way! No way!
That was over the line over here.
Listen, Army has got 2. Air Force got 2. Marines, you're out. Looks like Navy's out. We're gonna have 2 guys compete and that's it. Get it across any line, Air Force, and you win the game. Army, any line you cross, if you get it before the other one, you win the game. Just beat Air Force. Guys, get your breath real quick here, and we'll get this game going. All right, guys, all you have to do, since you're the last contestant, is get the ball across any line. Be sure to be the last one to touch the ball. You guys good? Air Force, you ready? Army, you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What? That was too quick. Air Force just brought it home. That's it. 500 points for the Air Force. Good job, Air Force. Good game. We'll see you next time.
All right, cadets, here's this week's points total. Air Force, 575 points. Army, 600 points. Navy, 0 points. Marines, 0 points. That's this week's points total.
This is Truth Training. And in episode 1, we learned what is truth. Episode 2, we learned God's word is truth and that it can be trusted. Today, in episode 3, we're learning the truth of creation, which brings us to the beginning of the book, the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Because at the beginning of time, there was nothing. There was no earth, no sky, just utter darkness. And when we look at the first verse of Genesis chapter 1, we discover the creation of God. Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And in the first day, he said, let there be light, and there was light. And he said it was good, very good. We know that God created light out of nothing. And then there was darkness, and he called the darkness the evening. And as we begin to read verse by verse in God's word in Genesis chapter 1, we know that God created each and every part of the universe from Genesis 1 all the way to the end to chapter 2. He created on the first day light and darkness. The second day, God made a firmament and he separated the mist of the waters. And he said, let us divide the waters from the waters. And then on the third day, God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And he did just that. And everything started to grow and develop. And it was beautiful because the seeds yielded seed, and all of this came together to produce fruit and grass and vegetables. And God said it was good, and they produced after their kind. And then there was the fourth day. And then God began to work, and then we saw on the fifth day the plants on earth and the creatures in the water and the creatures that were in the sky, all perfectly created by God from day 1 to day 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the sixth day, the creatures that walked across the earth were not alone, because God also created man. And then he rested. But is that true? Is this the truth? Is God the creator of all things? Is he? Now it's time for you to know the truth of creation, and how you can explain to somebody the truth that God created all things. Years ago, I went to a really cool place in Atlanta, Georgia. It was called the Coke Factory. I don't know if you've ever been there. If you've been there, you know that there's all kinds of different Coke that you can sample. Coca-Cola usually comes in a can like this, but at the Coca-Cola factory, they have this fountain machine with different types of Coca-Cola from across the world. Really nasty Coca-Cola, like Africa and Asia, and I can't remember all the different locations, but they just didn't taste the same as this Coca-Cola that we have here in America. And as I walked around this place, I began to think, wow, when did this all begin? I went through the museum. I even went to the little theater and watched a little bit of the history of Coca-Cola. But what if I told you this? What if I told you that Coca-Cola came about millions and millions of years ago? Yeah. Way in the middle of nowhere. It was just utter darkness, black. And then all of a sudden, on this floating rock in outer space, like an asteroid, this bubbly substance, dark, bubbly substance, started to appear. It had a sweetness to it, and it appeared all over the rock. And then it began to shape and form into a can, and this aluminum formed around it. And then all of a sudden, that bubbly substance was inside of the can. And on top, this little tab appeared. It's sealed up, and the color red was on the can. Boom! Now you have Coca-Cola. Just happened by chance millions of years ago. You'd probably think that's the most ridiculous thing you'd say, Pastor Dave. We all know that Coca-Cola had to be created by somebody. Guess what? You're right. Because in the late 1800s, a man by the name of John Pemberton, this guy right here, created, that's right, Coca-Cola Classic. He was a pharmacist, and he just accidentally came across this way of creating Coca-Cola. And from there, we have all kinds of different Coke products. But it all started with this guy named John. He is the creator. What is the point of this whole story? The point is this. Just like John is the creator of Coca-Cola, God is the creator of the world, the universe, and you and me. That's right. The reason why there's truth in the creation that we believe in from the Bible, from Genesis 1 and verse 1, is because everything has to have a creator. Nothing happens by chance. If you threw a bunch of car parts in a garage, close the garage door, do you think if you open the garage door, it's going to all come together and appear to be a car? That's impossible. Somebody had to go into the garage, take the car parts, and put them together to make a car. Same goes with you and me. There had to be a creator. And we know, according to the Bible, God created all things. John chapter 1 verse 3 says, all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. That is a verse you're going to learn. It's important for you to know that truth, because creation has a creator. And the easiest way to explain to people that there is truth in God's word when you read in Genesis that God created everything is by simply saying everything has to have a creator. And if everything has to have a creator today, then at the beginning of time, there had to be a creator. You say, what about God? Who created God? The very definition of God means there is no creator outside of him. He is a supreme being that has always existed. That is very difficult to understand. You mean God has always been? Yes. And that's why he's God. So God never had a beginning. He'll never have an end. But everything outside of God, including me and you and the creation around us, had to have a beginning. Creation. And that's why at the beginning of time, when God said, let there be light, there was light, and it started with God. In the beginning, God created. To better understand this, we're going to join Ben Schettler again in Pensacola, Florida. I wish I was in Pensacola, Florida right now, but in Pensacola, Florida, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more about design, the design of the world, because every creator does a design. If there's a piece of art, there was a designer that created it. If there's a car, there was a designer that created it, because everything has design. It's uniquely made. You and me were uniquely made. So listen as he explains a little bit more on the design of the universe and us, and how it proves there had to be a creator.
One of the greatest scientists to ever live was Sir Isaac Newton. Newton's groundbreaking work includes the formation of the 3 laws of planetary motion. He invented calculus. He was the first person to recognize gravity as a universal force. He invented the first reflecting telescope. He may or may not have had something to do with figs. As a member of British Parliament, Newton was part of a revolution that led Europe away from a mystical view of the universe into a rational and logical one. What may surprise people was a claim Newton made about God. He said, "Given the lack of evidence, the thumb alone would convince me of the existence of God." Sir Isaac Newton believed that it was impossible to observe the natural world without understanding that someone had to be responsible for its incredible design. Today, the intricate design of the universe, its detailed order, and its magnificent structure are more deeply understood than in Isaac Newton's day. These amazing discoveries all point to an incredible designer. Unfortunately, pseudo-intellectualism has kept many from attributing the design of the universe to the one who designed it. Naturalists won't allow evidence to end in a God conclusion because they presuppose God's non-existence. They would have laughed at Newton making a very obvious claim about the universe in our thumbs. To the one who wants to find the truth, the designer can be seen in every part of the universe. How much evidence did one of the greatest scientists need for the existence of God?
For 50 points, truth. Memorize John chapter 1, verse 3. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. For 25 points, dare. We dare you to love your neighbor as yourself by simply writing an encouraging note or giving a gift to your neighbor by simply dropping it off at your neighbor's home.
Hey, listen, on July 1st, we're going to be together. What? Yes, we're going to be together for Cadets for Christ at Fellowship Baptist Church right here in Columbus, Ohio. You're probably wondering, what am I holding in my hand? Well, if you're not familiar with Cadets for Christ, or you're joining us for the first time and you're a part of this, as a cadet, you're going to learn very quickly about the Bomb Award. The Bomb Award is given to the team at the end of the summer that wins with the most points. And you'll be here in person to see the winner, because on July 1st, that Wednesday, we are going to be here together for Cadets for Christ, and you'll be able to register, join your team in person, and play the games in person. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to be working really hard for this right here. That's right, the Bomb Award. And the team that wins not only gets this, but also a special award for each individual. And we're going to close it out with a really, really cool, exciting night at Cadets for Christ at Fellowship Baptist Church. So you don't want to miss out on your opportunity. Thanks for joining us. This was Cadets for Christ, truth training, and we learned tonight the truth of creation. We'll see you next episode.